Sorry about that. I was in tomorrow's Zoom meeting.
Oh,
You're way ahead of
How's
us.
that going, Orlando?
Which was very sparsely attended, might I add.
good, too. Because most people haven't really read the letter. I've known some that have thrown it out because they thought it was junk mail. And I would
So
have
you know this is being recorded, so
Yes.
it's cooking.
Yes. Yes. So, all right. Where do we start on how can the city do this?
How can the city do this?
How can they be authorized? I mean, I've done some research on this, and but without giving us, the city is telling us that, I know they're giving us a choice to opt out, but they're telling us that they're going to be providing this energy program. How can they tell us this without saying, would you like to, giving you a choice?
I'll take that, Orlando. So
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm the consultant for the town. So it's under a state statute 164, 134 for municipal load aggregation. And what the town really did was bring you a choice, although I agree, certainly from your standpoint, and we understand that it's a bit of an inconvenience to sign that card and send it back. That being said, it's the best way to get the best energy price for everyone in Haverhill. So that's why these programs are set up the way they actually are set up. Because if we didn't know who was going to opt in, we wouldn't have any idea how much load to purchase. So actually, it's more of a function of what the energy markets actually need, rather than the end user. So we're trying to get the best price while still bringing you the choice.
I understand what you're saying, and I did look under the general law. I made quite a few phone calls on this, asking about,
I spoke to you on the phone, I think.
Are you Mark?
I am.
Oh, Capadonna? Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah, and you gave me, I hit prompt number 3 on this. I didn't know who I was getting. Yeah, you gave me, you told me if I had any more questions, I could certainly call you. Well, I don't have to call you. Could you? You're right here, Mark. Thank you. You did lead me to that page, and I did print some of it until my printer ran out of ink. But reading over this, I opted out, okay, because number one, I don't like, and I think I discussed this with you, I don't like somebody or the government in particular telling me what I need to do, or not giving me a choice. I don't like that.
They do give you a choice. They do give you a choice. You get to opt out or opt in. It's up to you. But it does require you to do something to do that. But it is a choice.
Okay. It also, now, I spoke to one of my neighbors, and she threw it out. She didn't know what it was. She just thought it was a piece of junk mail coming in. So she's automatically going to be enrolled in this.
Well,
So
she could still opt out. You give her my number or the Colonial Power Group. She could
no, actually, another friend of mine, we're kind of interested to see when her bill comes in. Now, when does this start? In November?
Your November meter read, correct. So you won't see
Okay.
the bill until December. Use the energy first, and there'll be a note on their bill. If you've already opted out, you won't even be enrolled, you won't see anything. But on their bill, it'll say that they're being switched to Residence Energy. And then the following month, in December, they'll see that line item where it normally would say basic service. It's going to say Residence Energy Haverhill Aggregation. And it'll have the rate of 1086 rather than the 12388.
Well, are you expecting a lot of phone calls to come in to say, who is this? Why did this happen? How did this happen? I don't know who this company is. Why all of a sudden am I getting my supplier changed? And reading this also, that if somebody else has already chosen another supplier, say if I was going with, I don't know, green energy, is that one of them?
Whatever.
I would have to notify them that,
No.
that they,
Only
If you have another supplier, ma'am, you're not notified of the aggregation because you already have a contractual relationship with another party,
like,
which kind of leads me to the point I wanted to make, which is you always have a choice. You have a choice whether this program existed or not, because National Grid allows you to shop that same price around.
okay, it says here, if you have already chosen a competitive supplier on your own, you must, underline, must, opt out of this program. This will ensure you continue to get your electricity from the competitive supplier. And it says if you've already chosen a green power supply option through National Grid, you must, underline, opt out of this program. This will ensure you continue to get your electricity from that green power supply. So,
And I understand your point, so I'll just explain. So we have a lot of people that coming into the winter will be signing up. So we get the list from National Grid 3 weeks early before we do the mailing. If somebody has signed up, let's just say you got a mailing last week and you signed up with, I'm just using the same term, green energy. But we had you as basic service and you receive this mailing. We want to make sure that you get exactly where you want to go. It happens, we call it a timing issue. So what happens is you've signed up, we have you as a basic service customer. So we don't want anyone to be switched inadvertently. All we ask is if somebody had signed up during that time period, we wouldn't get it. Let's say you signed up in August. We certainly wouldn't get your name to mail to you. But if it just happened that you signed up, we're just warning you, hey, listen, if you signed a contract and you got this mailing, please just sign this and send it back. So we've never had a problem of re-enrolling someone or anything like that, but just to stay away from the hassle, we prefer to let them know because this is something we've been doing for about 15 years. So we kind of know what those issues are.
so what you're saying is with Residence Energy, if you already have another energy supplier, Resident Energy would already know this so that they couldn't switch you?
National Grid would know that, and they wouldn't send the list to us so that Resident Energy wouldn't send you the mailing.
So you're saying National Grid?
National Grid would know. So National Grid knows as soon as you sign up. But
Okay.
again, remember, we're getting this list in, let's say, this went out probably late September, right? And we have until October 26th, so we can start enrolling for the November meter reads. But if somebody signed up in October sometime and received this letter, they signed up maybe late September or the middle of September with a green energy or any supplier, and they received this, National Grid didn't know that. It's just simply a timing issue. So if they
Okay.
use that card and send it back, they won't be enrolled. There wouldn't be a problem. It's more it affects about a half a dozen people, especially in a city the size of Haverhill. There might be 6 people that signed up that it will affect.
Now, I just looked at my September, my July to August bill, which I just, this was July to August. Did I get my, I don't think I got my September to October bill yet, no. But I'm looking at the kilowatt hours. It says total supply services. It doesn't say who supply. Is National Grid supplying the services for this? Do they choose who they want?
Choose who they do a bidding process in which they select a supplier based on pretty much the same mechanism the city does.
Okay, they do this now. They change these supplies, what, twice a year?
Sometimes they don't necessarily change the supplier, but they bid it twice a year.
Oh, they bid it. Okay, they bid it twice a year. So right now, looking at,
They just don't send you a letter like the city does when they do it.
okay, so looking at this now and comparing what they charged 0.09898 for 643 kilowatts. Okay. Right now, they are lower than what the Haverhill program through Resident Energy, but their rate is. Now, I know in November, you say that they're gonna bid on this again, correct? And they could go up on it.
They already have.
Okay, do you know what that rate right now is with National Grid?
Yes.
Are you allowed to divulge that?
Yeah, it's 12.388.
right on the front page of the letter in the chart.
I see it. Okay. So now that point 12388, that's going to stay at that rate for like say the next 6 months through April?
Correct.
Okay, and your rate's going to stay at 10,860.
That's correct.
So now I don't know, doing the math on this, at the rate that they have right now with the kilowatt usage that I've had, how much of a savings would I have? I mean, they're talking,
$9.17.
what I've read, they're talking over 36 months that
Yeah.
you're going to save money.
Each month for you, you're about 600 kilowatts. They say to you on the average customer. So the average customer there, it's about a penny and a half. It's about $9.17 a month. You'd save for November, December, January, February, March, and April.
So that would be $9 a month approximately that I would save on my electric bill? Going,
Just about $50 in total, right? Nine times 6, 4. So
okay.
really depends on your usage.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing it does, ma'am, is it keeps your rate stable, so it doesn't keep changing every 6 months, which is something we really wanted to do for people because the rate is constantly fluctuating and it's throwing people's bills off. Not intentionally, it's just the way the system is designed. But unfortunately, we have such a different spike in electricity pricing as the winter comes that price stabilization was one of the major goals of our program.
Okay. Okay, I'm writing that down. Let me see. Can you explain to me at the bottom who or what this? It said the rate includes a consultant fee of 0.001 per kilowatt to facilitate Haverhill's community choice program and an operational adder of the same amount to fund personal costs associated with city's energy manager position. What does that mean? Somebody's getting so much per kilowatt?
That's correct. So the first fee is the Colonial fee of 0.001. So that's what Colonial takes for putting this whole program together and so forth. The other fee is for the city and to support an energy manager, so they can look further down the road to other possible benefits that energy-related things in Haverhill can do.
Mark, it also helps offset some of the costs of the call center, the 311 call center, to manage and track the calls on the aggregation.
So is this minute amount, is it added? Is that part of the kilowatt hours or is
It's inclusive in the 10,860?
it's included?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay,
It's included, ma'am, but it's important to disclose it.
okay, all right. So is that considered like some type of a kickback that the city gets on this? Or what was, that this helps to provide what again?
It covers costs that the city incurs to manage the program.
Okay. I have friends that are all interested in this, but nobody's doing their homework except me.
Well, it's not the first time the city's done this either, ma'am. This is
I
our,
heard that. And
this
I
is our second go around, and the first one was actually very successful and had over a 90% participation rate.
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of people who are just very satisfied with how we managed this last time. So they're probably feel relatively confident in our ability to do it.
Okay,
I
now,
mean, we get people all the time who just take the position that they don't want government to tell them what to do, and I can respect that. But you know, we also have fiduciary responsibilities to protect people, and I don't think there are people who are taken advantage of, particularly low-income people and seniors. I spoke to a woman today who has a contract with SFE, and she's paying 15 cents a kilowatt hour right now because she was given a cheap rate for 6 months, and then the rate skyrocketed on her.
yeah,
So when while I understand people's desire to say, well, we just don't want the government telling us what to do, government also has a responsibility to protect those people who have been taken advantage of by the free market system. And so this is a protective measure for them as well.
I guess this went into effect in 1997, from what I understand. So that's good. You know, the thing is I think personally that this could have been presented a little bit differently. I think the consumer should have been given a little bit more information about, instead of saying, please to announce, Residence Energy has been selected as a supplier. I think personally, I think that this could have been addressed differently, that people should be aware of how this happens, and why it's happened, how long this is, you know, like the general law says, you know, what it says, that they should be given the opportunity to know a little bit more about how the city has the so-called, I want to say, right to do this without making it sound like, you know, municipal aggregation, which enables local government to combine the purchasing power of its residents and businesses with an alternative. I don't know, there's something here that it makes it kind of scary for those people that haven't gone in and researched it or understood it. And I don't know, excuse me, I think there's something that's missing that could make it a little bit easier for the residents to understand. Now, maybe I'm just, because this is the first time I've gotten this, maybe I'm just dumb, I don't know. But I certainly get myself educated, so, which I'm glad of, you know, because it helps to understand it, you know, a little bit more. But I'm wondering how many people, and looking at this little forum right now, there's only one right now. Now, I don't know how many I had yesterday, but nobody seems to be going and asking any questions as to why and how.
We do get lots of calls, ma'am.
I bet you do, yeah.
You know, and I don't have the numbers right now, but normally at the end of the month, we'll get a list. Hey, there was, I'm making up a number right now, there was 150 calls from Haverhill, you know, explaining the program, so forth and so on. But the goal of this is just to get people educated in the information that they need so they can make a decision on their behalf. Remember,
Yeah.
the city did this for you so that you had an option that you haven't had in years past. So the goal here is to simply let you understand the program. They're agnostic to whether you participate or not. That's up to you. And it's a choice that you're able to make yourself. Not where in years past, last winter, it was 13.9 was the basic service rate. And there's nothing you and I can do about that other than the marketplace, you know, those individual contracts, which the Attorney General has said have cost the ratepayer in Massachusetts $357 million over the last few winters. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense to try to, you know, swim in those shark-infested waters.
Okay. Now, if you don't get enough people that get involved in this, okay, that want to do this, what then happens to this program?
Nothing. So the program, the way it works with the supplier is, we're going to bring together our constituency, all our basic service customers. It's up to them whether they participate or not, but there's no risk by the city one way or the other. If there was full 100% participation down to just one customer, they would anyone would be able to get that rate for the next 36 months.
Okay. All right, let's see. So now what is Colonial Power is the company that supplies this residents. What role is Colonial Power Group now?
We're the consultant that helps the city through this
Okay.
process.
Okay, and so they're consultants, and what they're doing is they're telling you that this particular residence energy is who they recommend to do this?
So we went out to bid. So believe it or not, Denise and I are Colonial Power Group. We're representing Colonial Power Group right now. So
Yeah.
Dawn is your consultant. What we did is we took all the accounts in Haverhill, put them together, created a load profile, took that load profile and took it out to the supply community, the people that actually serve residential customers, municipal aggregation customers in Massachusetts. We had a day that bidding was due. We took all the prices, put them in a matrix, send them over to Orlando and the city. The city then decided we want this term and this supplier.
Okay.
And they executed a contract.
Okay, so they did research on who could give us the best price, the best rate. Okay, let's see. Well, I know I talked to someone at the Department of Public Utilities because I wanted to know more about this, and she did tell me that this, reaffirm that this was not a so-called scam, that this was a completely legitimate program. And I think what happened to me is, in the past, people knocking on the door or stopping you in the street or being at the mall or somewhere and saying, we'd like you to, change, we can save you money on your energy bill. And then come to find out, like you said, they'll give you a low price to start with, and then boom, after 6 months, the price, this is what happened to my son. Boom, the price all of a sudden jacked up, and wow, what's happened here? So, that's a thing that I've been reluctant, looking at this and, okay, here we go. Somebody's telling me what I've got to do, and they're just going to tell you have to do it, unless if you don't want it, then, well, you can send it an opt-out card. I just feel bad. Like one of my neighbor's friends, she said, I just thought that was junk mail. I threw it out. Now she's automatically going to be enrolled without her opening this up and really reading it. And whether she's going to understand her bill when it comes in. I think she's going to look now, because from another friend and through me said, okay, Tony's gone and she's researched this, and this is what's going to happen to your bill. We're interested now to see just how much she's going to save with this residence energy.
So you're going to, if you have a pen there, I want you to write down however many kilowatts she uses times 0.01528.
Wait a minute. I got to put a sticky on top. I've got so many notes. Okay. So
So, yep, you're good. So however many kilowatts she uses, then you're going to times that times 0.01528 each month, and that will be the savings rate. All that is the difference between 12,388 and the 10,806. That
Okay, I'm gonna take the kilowatts time what?
times 0.01.
Point 0860.
Nope, 0.01528.
0.01528.
Correct.
What is that one? That's different from what I'm reading on.
Correct. That's the difference between basic service of 12,388 and the town and the city program at
Okay, that's the difference between the 2 kilowatt, the two, okay. Difference, so that's the difference between National Grid rate
Yes. And the city.
And the city's aggregation rate.
And this, yeah, okay, and city.
So only for the first 6 months can we guarantee, and we were talking about this yesterday, only for the first 6 months can we guarantee that savings. But after that, basic service rates change up and down. Perfect example is right now through the end of October, you're going to be paying 0.98 or 0.09898, which is below the rate. So if the rate comes all the way down there again next summer, I don't think it's going to get that low. But regardless, you might be slightly over, but you probably won't be a penny and a half under. I don't think you're going to get a rate down in the low nines. So
Okay.
just given the market conditions today.
Okay,
Point of the stability so that your rate won't be going up and down when the National Grid rate does change.
so, and that's for 36 months.
Correct.
This contract is for 36.
36 months. Now, if I opt in and after, say, 6 months, I decide to opt out, according to what I've read here, it's going to take, a few billing cycles. Let me see. All right, okay. It may take a couple of billing cycles before you are back on National Grid service if you choose to opt out the initial. All right, if you choose to opt out and go back with National Grid and then say, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have opted out, I should go back with Residence Energy. Does Resident Energy take you back, or they say, oh, you had your chance the first time around?
Go back and forth as much as you'd like, Tony. As much as you'd like. Back and forth, you can play. So if the rates are lower in the summertime, you can get out the summer and then come back in the winter and enjoy the savings. That's the difference about municipal aggregation. There's no small print, and it's a consumer-loaded contract. The city of Haverhill said, you can serve our customers with these terms and conditions. They can come and go as they please. There is no opt-out fees. There's no penalties. There's nothing. They're out there protecting you from the marketplace. That's the goal of this. But on top of that, they're saying, you get to decide. I don't know too many municipal programs where they say, oh, you can do it if you'd like, or you don't have to. Like, I'd love to be able to opt out of my city's property taxes, but they don't allow it.
Really? Okay, I like to opt out of paying my taxes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This program is going to do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the one thing you can do, ma'am, is you can opt out of your supplier. You cannot opt out of your utility. So you're going to have National Grid no matter what.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they don't give you much choice with that either, do they? So,
No, I mean, and the reason being is, can you imagine a bunch of different utilities operating in the same municipality with all their own poles and wires? I mean,
yeah, we don't want that, yeah. So, well, I think,
well, Tony, the good thing is I think if Mark and Denise are hiring anybody, you've done enough homework, you can probably get a job at Colonial.
I do. This is my neighbor. If anybody's going to go research it. Oh, like I've had questions about my medical. I just recently had a total shoulder replacement on my left shoulder. Get all these they only pay, well, only pay, but they pay 90% of your hospital, no more 100%, no more 100%. So I look at this and say, what? How come I'm paying this much money? So I make the phone call and say, okay, how much? Well, wait till the actual bill comes in. Well, thank goodness I waited till the actual bill came in, and it was actually $400 less than the $900. But I research. I go and say, okay, if this is something I'm not too familiar with, and I mean, I've made appeals before with United Healthcare to no avail. I got nothing out of them, but we're dealing with, that. But yeah, so.
Well, Tony, the one thing I will say that separates this process from most things people don't understand, because I understand it's complex at times, is you don't have access to the players in this format the way you do in anything else. I mean, good luck getting somebody from, say, Mass Health in a Zoom meeting like this.
Oh,
when you
God.
have, or from the Medicaid office. I mean, so we're not here to sell you anything you don't want. We're simply here trying to provide a service. And I think Mark and Denise will tell you, Haverhill is one of the communities that they deal with that really has in-house staff that knows how to scrutinize these contracts. So we feel we can't control rates, but we can control process, and we certainly can control transparency.
Well, and I know this has nothing to, this is a total different subject. How come the city has opted for Comcast and no FiOS, no choice with FiOS?
That has actually not been the city's decision. So the city puts out an RFP every 10 years, and FiOS does not bid. There is no legal requirement that limits the number of cable companies in your community. There's only a law that limits the number of electric and gas companies. So you have an electric utility and you have a gas utility, which are National Grid in this particular case, but you actually don't have a limit on the number of cable companies that can operate. But I think that cable companies tend to divide the territories amongst themselves in sort of a gentlemanly way.
So the city doesn't have any choice the residents, I mean, if you wanted to go with FiOS, because I'm a retiree from Verizon many years now, and I mean, if I went with FiOS, I could definitely save some money on that, but they don't give me that opportunity.
But they don't give you that opportunity because they're choosing not to come into the city of Haverhill, not because the city of Haverhill has said they can't.
So you're saying that Verizon FiOS has chosen not to come into the city of Haverhill?
That's what I'm saying.
I've heard just the opposite.
Well, I will tell you this. There's a guy who works at Verizon. His name is Stan Yusevich. He's a great guy. He used to be the mayor of Salem. And I yell at him every time I see him because I tell him, stop telling your people that we're not letting you come into Haverhill or any other community. You need to be honest with people and tell them that you don't even respond to the request for proposals. If there's one area where people desperately want more competition, it's cable.
Okay.
And ma'am, I don't even have cable anymore. That's how frustrated I am with it.
All right, tell me what you got. I might want to switch.
Well, I have Roku, and what I tell people is go to a website called disablemycable.com.
Yeah.
And it will give you some strategies on how to cut the cord.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody because some people really like cable.
Yeah, well, the problem is if you got your internet service. Now, I changed my internet service because the only thing you can get here is DSL. And I changed it back a couple of years ago. And I said, okay, I got my cable, and I had my telephone and I had my DSL through Verizon, and I was getting a discount. However, DSL was so slow, I just decided, well, I'll give up my savings on that end and go with something, get a package from from Comcast. And naturally Comcast goes up like $6 to $10 every year on your bill. But, you know, I'm not given a choice to have FiOS, so that's but that's their fault. That's not the city's fault, is what.
Yeah, the city would certainly welcome FiOS or RCN or Charter Communications to at least offer the opportunity in the city, but the only company that responded was Comcast. So I don't want to get too far off the aggregation topic, but I did want to answer your question.
Now, what role do you play, Orlando, in the city?
I advise the mayor on energy issues.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sort of the check and balance on Colonial Power Group.
Okay. All right.
But the truth is we're all kind of working as a team to provide something that we think is very special and beneficial to the city of Haverhill residents, because not all states allow this.
Right. Right. Okay. How was your response? You had a meeting yesterday. Was it downtown somewhere? Last night at 7 o'clock?
We had a meeting with the city council to update them.
Oh, was that open to the public?
It was.
Okay. Did you have a good turnout, may I ask? How good of a turnout you had?
At the city council meeting? Well, I don't know, because I don't know how many people were there for aggregation, but the councilors asked some really good questions, and they were also familiar with this process before. So they had less of a learning curve than I think other people.
Okay. All right. Now, are you doing another one of these Zoom things again?
Yeah, we're doing one tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a better turnout. I'm sorry.
Well, even if we don't, we're not going anywhere. So people can always reach us, either through the mayor's office, through the city's 311. You can call Colonial Power direct.
Okay.
And that's 866-485-5858, extension 1.
What is that?
Colonial Power's 1-800 is 866.
Do I have a number down here?
Yes, I gave you my personal number.
Oh, you did? Yes, you did. But I hit the number 3, not knowing where I was going when I hit this. So something up above said, hit number 3. And I was like, what? We were destined to be like this, Mark.
Correct. That's correct.
What Italian do?
I'm sorry?
Italians we got here.
It was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denise, myself, and you. So I'm not sure about Allison.
She's just a good old solid American woman. And Pachico, how do you say your last name? Pachico?
Pachico.
What is it?
Pachico.
Pachico, okay. All right. Well, okay. I think that I've already got all the answers to this, so now I can call my neighbor, because I invited her to come up and listen, and she's, no, I'm gonna let you handle it. I said, okay. Okay, then you can let me know. So, all right. Well, I think there's my notes all over. You can't see it, but all over here, and another couple of notes on stickies. So I hope I can figure it all out. But I think I can. And I appreciate this time that you've given solely to me. I feel very special.
Thank you for dialing in.
Okay. Well, listen, I want all of you to stay well.
Same to you.
Wear your mask, social distance, and this is the best way to do it right now. So if I sneeze, you won't catch it.
Well, we appreciate that.
Okay, well, I thank all of you. Denise, you're very soft-spoken. Have a nice laugh. Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, you're at the top of the list. Hey, look at that. Anyway, I will let you all go and get your next cocktail after this meeting. have a slug of,
It's a little early even for us.
yeah, hard apple cider. That might be, that's kind of silly. But anyway. All right. Well, you all be well. And I got to find out now how I can click out of you, or do you get rid of me first?
We can just end the meeting from
Oh,
here.
yeah. Up at the top, I see it says stop share. Yeah. Okay.
Down in the right-hand corner, leave meeting. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Well, thank you. I thank all of you for answering my questions, and now I can go. Now I can go educate my neighbors, and I'll give them your phone numbers. Believe me, if they want to talk to you and get some more.
Sounds good, Tony. We look forward to it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you. Yep. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
Mark, it being 2:50 and with nobody else in the meeting room or the waiting room, I'm going to suggest we shut it down. It is recording, so we'll save the recording, and if we need to give it to the DPU or anybody has any questions, we can just reuse it.
Yeah, that's great. We can throw it up on our website if you want, just for reference, if folks want to click.